Guys, Jacob here with Vitruvian Vapors, and today we're talking about something revolutionary. We got a 100 watt device from eLeaf. Let's talk about it. Welcome back. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the eLeaf iStick 100 watt today, and this thing's pretty cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and break it out of the box, and we're going to go ahead and get started. I didn't expect eLeaf to come out with something like this, especially not so soon after making their huge mark on the world with their 30 watts and 50 watts and whatnot. They just came out with a 40 watt temperature control. That thing's really cool, and now they're hauling ass down the road, and they've got this 100 watt. And I hear rumors of a 100 watt temperature control coming from eLeaf really soon. So without further ado, let's get started. We're going to do this thing with a couple of different atomizers too. We're going to test the low range, we're going to test the high range, because as far as I understand, minimum resistance is 0.15, which is pretty cool, all the way up to 5. So 0.15 ohms to 5 ohms, that's a huge range. That's a really massive range. So we're going to kind of test the low end. I'm not going to put a 0.15 on it, but I've got something that's built to roughly a 0.3. And then I've got a full to a 1.2 ohm that we're going to put on there. So we're going to test both sides of it, both sides of the spectrum. Now this thing does take external batteries. I know that's a little different for you guys because eLeaf usually has all of their batteries internal, but they decided to be a little bit different with this one. We're doing 100 watts. But the coolest part about this is that all our batteries go in behind this magnetic door. The magnetic door is not the cool part. They go in parallel. I know, right? So then we put this awesome magnetic door back on. And these magnets are strong, and this metal right here, this box, it looks a little cheap, okay, but it did come from eLeaf. Alright, so take that into consideration. But from what I understand, this is aerospace grade aluminum. So quality, not quality, it feels cheap, but according to eLeaf, it's awesome. Alright, so let's go over the back of the device real quick. We've got these nice little vent holes right here, sit right underneath the top of your device and your 510 pin. Speaking of the 510 pin, it's a stainless steel 510 pin. It's nice threads, very, very smooth. I'll show you guys when I put the atomizer on. And it floats. Stainless steel floating 510 thread, 510 pin. I love it. Well, now I've got a pin mark on it, but whatever. Alright, let's move on and see what this thing does. Alright, right now you can tell I've got it up to 10 volts. It goes all the way from, how many volts? 2 volts? Oh, yeah, 2 volts all the way up to 10 volts. Now most of the time when you're using an eLeaf product, I don't recommend using it in volts, I recommend using it in wattage, but most of the time when you use an eLeaf product, you're also using it for some sort of a tank. This thing will run, it'll rock the crap out of some RDAs. So we're going to hit the button 3 times and put it in wattage mode. Alright, now we're in wattage. And it goes all the way from 5 watts all the way up to 100 watts. Almost there. Yeah, that's a long range. 70, 80, 90-ish. There you go, 100. 100 watts. Coolest thing too, you got a 100 watt device that has a USB pass-through. You never have to take these batteries out. You can charge them through the pass-through, and it's safe because it's in parallel, not in series. So let's put an atomizer on this thing. I'm going to put my troll, take this thing off my Snow Wolf. This thing is built to a 0.3. All right, and we're going to do it at, make sure it's juicy, but we're going to do this thing at 100 watts. So 100 watts with my 0.3 ohm build is going to come out to 5.5 volts, which isn't that bad. Another great thing about this device is you'll notice it's got the seconds counter, like all eLeafs do. Well, it's got a protection. It shuts off at 10 seconds. So if you put this thing in your pocket and you forget to lock it, it'll shut off on you, and you don't have to worry too much about destroying your atomizer. Yeah, that's nice. All right, so that's at 100 watts. Let's switch over to voltage and see what it does for us. All right, now it says we're at 5.5 volts. It won't let us change it at all. So we're stuck at 5.5 volts. Back at wattage, we're back at 100. It's pretty much the extent of what that thing can do with a 0.3. It regulates it by your voltage. So at any point, if you exceed 100 watts or exceed 10 volts, it's going to regulate you by the opposite. So let's take this device off. And I've got another one here that was prepared by Mr. Steve Jackson himself over at SMV. And this is a 2.1 dual, 1.2 dual coil that he is very proud of. It's a nice big 28.5 millimeter RDA. Beautiful coils. I don't know if you guys can see those or not. They're absolutely gorgeous. He did a wonderful job. And I'm vaping on some lip smacker from New Moon Vape Brew. Very good flavor. Put that on there. All right, let's click to make sure it registers. Good thing to do with eLeafs, guys. I don't know if anybody's ever told you this or if you've ever had this experience. If you get an eLeaf and you put a new atomizer on it and you just try to hold down that fire button, it's most likely going to do a short protection and shut off until you plug it into the charger. So the best thing for you to do every time you put a new atomizer on is just click the button for a second so it registers the new atomizer. A lot of people think that their eLeafs are pieces of crap because they're not doing that. So here we are at, it automatically changed me over to 88.4 volt or 88.4 watts, which puts me at 9.9 volts. But if we switch over to voltage mode, we can bump that up to the full 10 volts, which isn't really going to change much, but hey, there's RDA whistles. That's just phenomenal. And that is at 1.2 ohms. 1.2 ohms. That's incredible. I could put a non-sub-ohm build on this thing and vape away. Absolutely wonderful. The vapor production is great. The flavor is amazing. So a couple other things we want to talk about real quick. All right, we've gone over the fact that it's got a stainless steel floating 510 pin. We've got a 0.15 to 5 ohm resistance, 2 to 10 volts, 5 to 100 watts, USB pass-through. The batteries are in parallel. It's got a magnetic door, very strong magnets. That's the Gelly standard right there, which is crazy on an eLeaf. 10-second pull protection. Left and right-handed display mode. Currently, I have it in left-handed display mode. If I'm using it with my left hand, I can see the screen. Okay. If you turn the device off, 5 clicks turns it off, 5 clicks turns it on, typical eLeaf, and you hold down the plus and negative button, it switches it. Now it's in right-hand display. But if I hit it again, we're in left hand again. Right hand, left hand. If it'll work. There you go. See? Very, very cool. Okay. Another thing, I'm going to turn it back on. 5 clicks turns it off and on. 3 clicks changes from voltage to wattage. All right. And then while you're on, if you hold the plus and negative at the same time, you can lock it. So now the device is locked. You can still fire the atomizer. Let's test this theory because I'm pretty sure you can still fire the atomizer. but you can't adjust your voltage or wattage. Sure enough, but while I try to adjust, it'll tell me that it's locked, but I can still vape. Great design from eLeaf. I'm very, very pleased. I'm very, very happy with this device. Standard retail should be roughly, I think, 70 to 80 bucks, with or without the batteries. It just depends on the retail marketer that you are picking this thing up from. I know at SMV they're doing it for $79, and it comes with two 25R batteries, which are some of the best batteries you can purchase. So it comes in the box with a handful of goodies. You've got your manual that comes in English. It also comes in Espanol. Maybe that's Espanol. I think that's Espanol. And then you've also got your charging cable, and you've got a 510 adapter. So like I said, you can fire this down all the way down to 5 watts. So if you want a big, giant, bulky device and you want to put a CE5S or a GSH2 or, you know, something else that has an Ego thread on it, you can do that. But that's typical of pretty much any eLeaf product. That's just the standard packaging. So get you guys one today. As far as I know, they only come in stainless, but I could be wrong on that. This is just the only one I've seen, and they are hard to get your hands on. So if you find one at a retail shop or at your local vape store, jump on it. Have a good night, guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and tell all your friends. Also, keep in mind, we're about to be doing a giveaway. If you guys remember my video about the Dovepo Guardian 1.5, the Kawasaki green one, I'll be giving that away very soon, so keep your eyes open for that video. And I'll let you know how you guys can win a brand new 150 watt temperature control device. Deuces.